Hello, everybody. Welcome to Have a Chat. I'm your host for this week's show, Judy Loge. Welcome by my beautiful and very long absent co-host, Audrey. She's been away for a long time, and she's back for the second time in a row now, and she's joining us today. Hello, Audrey.
Hi, Judy.
Just so
Feels
nice to
good to
see
be
your
back.
face. Yeah, it's great to
Thank
have you back.
you.
Yes. So everything's been good with you so far, getting the week. It goes by so fast, right? From Monday to Monday.
Yes. Well, I mean, we had some gorgeous weather. I thought spring was literally had sprung, but this week it
Yeah.
sort of flipped it back the other way and not just
Yeah,
yet.
it's cold. No. So, what quote do you have for us this week, Audrey?
My quote today, I chose a poem. It's a positive type poem, so that I wanted to share with our viewers today. So the poem goes, people need to be encouraged. People need to be reminded of how wonderful they are. People need to be believed in, told that they are brave, smart, and capable of accomplishing all of the dreams they dream and more. Remind each other of this.
Oh,
And that was
that's
a poem by
beautiful.
Stacy Jean Spear. Yes.
I love that.
Well,
Like I said, I've never
I
heard
think
tell
we
of it.
need to be yeah, I think we need to be like words of encouragement, like for these troubling times and people
Hmm.
feeling so discouraged or down and out and feeling hopeless. Just
Yeah,
not just a kind word, but a word of encouragement and letting people know that they've got it within them to accomplish anything they put their mind to, and that
it's
they're
true.
brave
And
and they're smart
yeah,
and they're capable.
that's great. And you sound so positive giving that information that it almost makes me feel confident and all that. We can all be with that positive word and mindset. And I think everyone, even the people you think that are the most confident people, need to be reassured. I'm talking about the Elon Musks out there, Steve Jobs when he was
Mm,
alive. These are,
yes,
the movers and shakers of the world, but they also need that feeling of encouragement, like, oh my gosh, they're billionaires for heaven's sakes, but they still had to have that push along the way. Even though they had the confidence, they
definitely.
had to have the support behind them, right, to be all that they turned out to
Well,
be. So I think every single person in the world needs to be told they're valued and loved to succeed, period. I really do. Yes,
yeah.
that's a
I
beautiful
think I
poem
think
you brought.
people fail to realize that even those people, though they look very successful and on top of everything, they too went through struggles. They too
For
doubted
sure.
themselves along the way, and someone encouraged them to remind them that they were capable of accomplishing it and putting the work in and definitely being able to accomplish their dreams.
That's true. That's true. We're just on kind of the line of talking and sharing and giving advice. I
Hmm.
was thinking of some of the old expressions. Some of my children actually, well, they're men now, but they'll look at me sometimes, Audrey, when I'm giving them that encouragement. And I'll say this line. It's like, where'd you hear that? Our words are so changed now from my generation to the
They
current
are.
generation. That's almost hilarious. But there's still some good
Yes.
old ones. Do you have any one-liners that your mother or father or grandmother or grandfather or anybody taught you as a kid that is really, it's forever? It's something that you learned from that one line that they gave you growing up. Do you have anything?
Well, I'd have to say it was my grandparents. I'm not exactly sure which one, but it was, not to put off to tomorrow what you can do today. And like,
That's
going to school later on in life, and even with my work, even running a household or raising your children, that saying alone can, it rings true for me.
Yes. Yes, you've proven to be quite the warrior out there. You hold a fort, you hold your shop down. You're like mother to four children. You do it all, and you do it so well. And I never hear you really complaining. So, and you get things done, and you don't put off what you can do today. And I admire you for that. And it's an old one, but it's a good one. One that I've really kind of, it's taken me my whole lifetime to actually say, yeah, I get it, is don't cry over spilt milk, or it is what it is.
Mm,
Because I do that. I find myself, say I got into a fender bender, I'm going to say, oh my God, and have to go through the insurance and you have to, and your car's damaged and you're all shook up and all. It is what it is. And the car is not going to be put
Yeah.
back together. And if
Yeah.
you break something in your home that you loved, like a vase that your grandmother, bestowed you, and it's a cherished item, it's smashed, it's broken, and it
Yeah.
is what it is. It's not going to come back. And it's taken me
Exactly.
forever to accept that I can't change anything. There's nothing that anxiety is going to bring on that's going to change anything. So yeah,
It's not
to
going to
just
make it
own
any
the
better.
moment. No, no. But I've had to
No.
train myself to realize that it's done. It's done. Whatever happened, and I've put that onto my kids too over the years. Maybe
Yeah.
not so good, but more recently. Yeah. So Audrey, I haven't had
Yeah.
time in my
That's
busy life to even
nice.
watch any shows. I haven't had the news on lately. I'm really out of the loop.
Nothing.
So fill me in. Nothing really. Nothing.
Fill
No, I've
you
just
in.
been very busy, busy. Yeah. Fill me in. Like last week
Well,
we were
I
talking
did.
about
Well,
yeah.
I'm a Netflix junkie when I do have the time. It's not every
Yeah.
night, but when I feel like unwinding, that's what I definitely want to do. So I will mention this movie if you didn't get a chance. Russell Crowe's movie Unhinged.
I
Unhinged
did
was,
see that.
oh, did you see that? I was
I
on the edge
did,
of
and
my
I
seat.
was
My heart was pounding the whole time.
yes, I was
It
unhinged.
was good.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Definitely.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
But
He was.
I'd
We'll have to
recommend
talk
it.
about road rage one of these days as our topic and see if we've ever come across it or experienced it because that's what the movie was about.
Oh yes,
Yes.
I've experienced it, and I've been one that someone could say has had road rage. So we won't go there just yet.
No, not
But
just
have you
yet.
seen
But
anything? No, in the news, like I've been, like we were talking last week about women's fashions and what the looks are,
yeah,
and some of them are
and the
just way out there, and some of them are cool.
I
But have you
did.
been following any more trends?
Well, I was listening to, well, I had talked on the men's cuts and the top 10 cuts that were still popular for men. And I was
Right.
catching the social today. The girls on the social are so much fun and I just laughed. And
Okay.
they were chit-chatting and I was sort of surprised. They were talking about the sexiest bald men that are out there. And
Oh,
surprisingly enough, Prince William rated number one as the sexiest
stop.
bald man out there. And I was
I
like,
like him, but
wait a minute. And
he
that
wouldn't
was
have
one
entered
thing.
my
That wasn't
mind.
one of the haircuts. No,
No, I would
that
never have
wasn't one
thought
of
of
the,
him.
no, me neither, because the other names that came up, he actually beat out Bruce Willis,
Oh, I
handsome, handsome,
love Bruce
handsome.
Willis. Oh
The
my,
Rock,
yes.
Dwayne Johnston, Mike
Oh my gosh,
Tyson, John
yes.
Travolta, Vin Diesel,
No.
Michael
Vin
Jordan.
Diesel, yeah.
I'm
No,
so
no.
I was surprised. So and I'm talking and the girls got chit-chatting about I'm talking full bald. No hair. They actually shave the full
Yeah.
scalp, which if we're going to talk about men's styles and fashion, that was the one thing that I didn't mention was that is quite popular even in younger men.
All bald?
Yeah. Yeah. If they're
Oh.
thinning and if they just have the horseshoe and it happens to be happening to them in their 30s and they're going ahead and they're shaving their full head and it's actually
Mm,
quite attractive on them. It's sexy.
okay. Well, I'm flush now. I don't know if it's the temperature in the room or just talking about The Rock and Bruce Willis in the same sentence, but what I did was poke around because I find that like in the winter and the spring my skin's not as glowing as it should be, and I love my Lumi Spa and my
Okay.
products, but I wanted to
The
research and help
change
the
of
women and the
seasons.
men. Yeah, like just some
Yeah.
things that are really, really good for your hair, your skin, and your
Okay.
fingernails. Okay. And there's some
Okay. What did
really
you dig up?
fabulous. I found this out that eating salmon, okay, or halibut or any other
Mm-hmm.
fatty fish is excellent. It's an excellent way to boost all of your it's protein basically, and you get
Right.
your iron, your vitamin B12. It's the omega fatty acids that give you that healthy looking hair and that healthy looking
That's
skin.
so true.
So salmon,
Mm-hmm.
salmon. I eat some of it, but not enough of it. Carrots, Audrey. I mean, I like them raw, but I couldn't
Really?
care less if I ever saw a cooked carrot. No. Do you like
Okay.
carrots?
Uh, um,
No.
Being ketogenic, I don't eat carrots, believe it or not. I don't eat any vegetables that
Okay.
come from underneath the ground. So skip the carrots for me.
But carrots, I'm going to tell you what I found out. They have an
Yeah. What'd you
incredible
find out?
anti-aging property. They're
Really?
exceptional for anti-aging. Yes, yes. And they have, and the other ones that are really good for anti-aging properties are spinach, broccoli, and peas and romaine lettuce. They have
Oh, I have all those.
the
Oh,
beta
yes.
carotene. That's
Yes.
what brings, that's so good for anti-aging. So I'm going to have a meal on carrots tonight. Tomatoes. Tomatoes
Oh,
are
my favorite. I love
fantastic.
tomatoes.
Well, they're fantastic for your skin, and you have beautiful skin. So,
Oh,
sometimes mine's a little bit dreary looking, but I'm going to up my increase in the tomatoes because they have the vitamin C. They're loaded with vitamin C, and that's why
are
it
they
gives you such a healthy, yeah. Eggs are another one.
eggs? Yeah, I
So
eat
if you
eggs
want
every day.
strong and healthy nails, for the nails especially, crack open an egg. They also have vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin 7, which I don't know much about, do you? And vitamin
Okay.
B12.
No.
So B7 and B12 vitamins. And they're really packed with protein. So that's where you get your strength in your nails. Blueberries are phenomenal. They have the highest
Full of
antioxidant
antioxidants.
properties of
Yes.
all the fruits and vegetables. They're touted to be the number one healthy food.
Yes.
So I like them. I don't love them, but they also have an anti-aging capability. I'm going to start to love them.
Oh, well, you're going to start loving them.
I'm going to buy the
Definitely.
superstore and the grocery stores out. Another one that's really good for healthy hair and nails and skin is low fat dairy and your low fat yogurt and low fat
Oh,
cheese.
really?
Yes,
And
they're
that's
all
good for what?
excellent. They're for everything, your hair, your nails, and your
Really?
skin. Yes, because they're
Okay.
loaded with calcium. They give you that calcium boost, and they're packed with
Okay.
protein too. Yeah, and so then there's oatmeal, which I happen to love. That's another
Do
one.
you really?
I
I
love
don't do
oatmeal.
oatmeal, but I never, ever, ever liked it. I couldn't get over the texture in my mouth. It
No.
was just too tapioca pudding kind of. I can't handle it.
Okay. Well, I top mine with the blueberries and things like banana and that. And to me, it's just filling. It is extremely
Yes,
good for
it
you.
is.
And oatmeal is full of copper, zinc, and B vitamins. And it's awesome for anyone out there that's having trouble with their acne. It's a really good
Oh, okay.
acne reducing food, oatmeal. And so are
Okay.
blueberries, actually. They beat
Okay.
up on the acne and get rid of it for you. They help with it. And the last one is beans. Beans, beans, beans. So
Oh, like actual
they're called the
lentil type beans?
yeah, or a white bean or
Okay.
a brown bean,
Okay.
kidney bean, and
Kidney beans? Yeah.
they're called a magical fruit. And they also help with the collagen in your skin for the elasticity. They give you that little bit of an
Okay.
extra lift in your collagen. So those are my tips I have today for hair, nails. I'm still thinking about Bruce Willis and The Rock, but those are
I know.
foods that will help maintain healthy hair if you're not bald.
No, definitely. No, in that last one you mentioned the collagen, I'd have to say that's something that I recently started buying because
Mhm.
unfortunately at our age, our body stops regenerating new collagen and it has to be replaced. So you always want to be stimulating and adding collagen again for the
Yeah.
skin and the hair and the nails, especially their skin, I find.
And this isn't
I
just for
love my
women. There's
collagen.
men. Yeah, and the men
It's
love to
true.
look good too and know what's out there for foods to keep their skin looking good and their hair and their nails. But do you know, I was thinking yesterday, I was putting my makeup on. I know you can relate to this, Audrey, and the viewers that are
Yes.
watching, the women, how funny it is when our men see us applying our actual product. So when we're putting on our mascara, we're like, and then we're
Yes.
like I think my youngest thought I was having a stroke one day. I was, I was putting my mascara on, I was like, and then I did my lipstick, and we're so and he just
Yes.
stands there
Pulling
and
on
looks
our
at me
face.
sometimes like, yeah, we have such expression when we're doing our makeup. Can you relate to
We
that?
do. We do. Definitely, definitely. I don't usually have anybody in the bathroom with me. I usually try to find a quiet spot. But I just want to mention you were saying about um, when it comes to moisturizers and things like that, it's not just for women. I find
No.
that more and more more products are coming out for men to
Mhm.
moisturize their skin and to cleanse their skin to help reduce the fine lines and the wrinkles as well. It's not just for girls. Guys need to get in on that as well.
Somehow we kind of we dismiss that a little bit too often because they're humans. They want to look just
No,
as good
but
as the women do, and make a hit out there with their other halves, to draw those men or women into their lives. But just before we go, I just want to say that even though we're into spring, it's actually spring now, to be cautious when you're
mhm,
out walking in the sun, because
yes.
I'm very fair and I see the dermatologist and I go regularly to get a skin check to make sure everything's good. But she always said, even in the winter, put on your skincare. Like, you have to have your
Your
sunscreen on.
sunscreen,
And
definitely.
yeah, and I mean, so I put my sunglasses on when I'm walking, and that keeps my eyes covered from the sun. But I have my dogs out a lot, and I think, oh, it's so cold out, and the sun's not that bright. Actually, it's very dangerous, she said, to be, and I think I went over this just recently, but I want to push that again, how important it is to protect yourself from the sun, because the rate of skin cancer is very frightening.
Oh my,
Everything from the basal cell to the
definitely.
squamous cell to the carcinoma to the
So,
melanoma, it's all there.
yeah. So it's not too early to
Yeah.
start using your sunscreen.
No, she said to use it all
Okay.
winter, all year round. Yeah. But
Okay.
I'm really looking forward, Audrey, to our guests that we have on the show. I always look forward, as you do, to new faces coming on to
Yes.
have a chat. And
Yes.
we have two lovely ladies with some interesting tips and some interesting news to share about success. So, on that note, I just ask anybody that they don't go too far, grab a little snack or use the restroom, and come right back to join Audrey and I for more Have a Chat. Thank you. Well, if you're just joining us, welcome back again to Have a Chat. I'm your host, Judy Loge, joined by my beautiful co host, Audrey. And we've been having a great chat about this, that, and everything. But now we would like to welcome our first guest to the show, and that would be Melanie Dixon, who is an aromatherapist. Welcome to our show, Melanie.
Thank you.
Hi, Melanie.
Hi, Audrey.
Thank you for joining us. And I love the topic of aromatherapy, and so does Audrey. And I'm sure our viewers do that know about it. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am approaching my 40th year and I'm married. I have two little kids. They're 9 and 6. I live here in the Miramichi. My husband and I, we have a little bit of a farm. We try to raise as much of our own food as we possibly can, kind of a back to the land sort of lifestyle. He works as a teacher, and
Mhm.
I've worked in healthcare for about 18 years now. So.
That's awesome. That farming thing sounds fabulous. And so before Audrey gets to her line of questioning, I just wanted to ask you, because some of the viewers may not know, a lot do, but some people just do not know exactly what aromatherapy is. If you could just give us an overall description of what it is.
Sure. So aromatherapy goes back hundreds of years. And it's basically the art and science of using essential oils. And essential oils come from plants, all different sorts of plants. And they're distilled usually to get the oil out of the plant. And the
Hmm.
oil is kind of like the lifeblood of the plant. And those can be used
Okay.
for all different sorts of purposes for helping a person's body, mind, and soul, as well as just cleaning and those sorts of things.
Great. That answered that question. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us, Melanie, a little bit about the different kinds of oils. Now, you just stated that essential oils come from plants themselves. So if you can touch on the most popular ones or the ones that are most used and what those benefits would be of those essential oils.
Sure. So there are hundreds of essential oils. So I'm just going to talk about a few that a lot of people would be familiar with the name of them and probably heard
Mhm.
about them before. Um, so I use oils from a company called Young Living, and I use all of the oils to solve most common everyday problems. And a lot of Young Living's oils have been approved by Health Canada as natural health products. So lavender is probably one that most people are familiar with, and
Yeah.
it's used for all sorts of things. They call it the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. So if you don't know what to use, if you reach for lavender, it will usually solve your problem. So lavender can be helpful for relaxation, which a lot of people are common with that idea, familiar with that idea, for cough and cold symptoms, for upset tummies, sore muscles, aches and pains. And I also like to use it for skincare, especially for like our kids' scrapes and burns or cuts, anything like that, insect bites, that sort of thing. I'll dilute it and use it for skincare, and it combines really nicely with tea tree for that purpose, for cuts and scrapes. So then tea tree is one that I think a lot of people are also familiar with, and it's really helpful for cleaning with, and like whether that's cleaning in your house or cleaning like cuts, that sort of thing. And it's both of those are very gentle, mild oils, so they're safe to even use on young children. And another common oil that I use pretty much daily is lemon. And lemon is a really nice, refreshing oil in a diffuser. Also great for cleaning with. Like I like to combine it with baking soda and use it like a scrubby paste to clean tubs, toilets, that sort of thing. It's also helpful in the diffuser for cough and cold symptoms. And another great use for it is to remove anything that's sticky. So like, say if you remove a label from a glass bottle and there's residue left behind, if you put a drop of lemon essential oil on and rub it in, it'll dissolve the sticky glue. Great for like sap, grease, if your husband works with like motors or that sort of thing. Just put a drop of lemon oil with some sugar on your hands and rub them together and the grease will come right off. And then
Interesting.
peppermint is another one that a lot of people are familiar with. Again, useful for many things. It's very refreshing, whether it's in the diffuser or used on your body, like diluted. It's excellent for pain. So for like joint and muscle pain, for headaches, and also helpful for upset tummies. And then I don't know how many of these to go through here. Then eucalyptus is also one that a lot of people are familiar with, that idea of eucalyptus, very helpful for cough and cold symptoms, and just as a general refresher. And then going back to the lemon, lavender, and peppermint, those are wonderful combined for in the spring for like seasonal, if you have seasonal congestion.
So when you're talking about these, I just thought of a question just to jump in that would go with this. So these are all the different oils and the different benefits. But now you pointed to the diffuser. Now, do you take how do you use them in order to be administered? Are you going to put it right on the skin? Are you going to put it in a diffuser? Or how exactly do you use it?
Yeah, so it depends on the oil. And it's always important when you're using essential oils to take the time to get to know what they are and what they can be used for and how to use them. So a diffuser is like this one that I have running here, or I have some other ones here. I have one in every room in our house. And this has a lid that comes off, and then there's a water reservoir inside. And then you would put a few drops of essential oil in it. And then that just disperses the oil molecules through the air by going through the water mist. So that would be useful for like just making your home smell better, to help clean the air. Also for mood, like Judy, we had talked about using oils for mental health, and we'll talk about that later. But so that's helpful for cough and cold as well. If you put it in a room, like say with your child sleeping at night, if they have a cough, have that running near their bed. Also helpful for sleep if you put it near your bed at night, those sorts of things. That's what a diffuser would be used for. There's other applications as well, like for using on your skin. Generally, most essential oils should be diluted, and you'll have different people who have different opinions on that. But my personal opinion is that it should be diluted before using on your skin because they're super concentrated. And if, especially if you have a good quality oil.
Yeah, that's
so
what I understood was that they're high concentrated.
Skin, yes, they are very concentrated. So in order to put them on your skin, you would use a carrier oil, which is just a vegetable oil. So I have some examples here. This is just sunflower oil. I just get it at the grocery store. It's unrefined, organic. And this is coconut oil, again, unrefined, organic. And then this is just a blend of vegetable oils that Young Living makes. And so you would take a carrier oil and depending on the age of the person, you would dilute it to a certain dilution. So like for a young child, you would use 1 drop of essential oil per teaspoon of the carrier oil or the vegetable oil to put it on their skin. Now, adults, you could go higher, like between 1 to like 10 drops, depending on when you're wanting to use it for. And you can pre-make them up like with like a roller bottle, something like this. And then that's great for transporting with you, like in your purse, that sort of thing. If you made one up for pain to carry to work, if you had like a sore neck, you could just take it out of your purse, roll it on your neck, and then put it away again. So you would just pre-dilute it with like a liquid vegetable
oil. I like
oil.
that idea.
Yeah. And then
like
also there are different applicators that you get like on Amazon. This is like an inhaler. So say if you work in a workplace where it should be scent free, these are a great option because they're discreet and you're not putting the scent to all your coworkers. So what it is just a little cotton wick. And you'd put the essential oils on the cotton wick. And then it's like the old Vicks inhalers is what it would remind you of. There's like a hole in the end and then you would inhale through your nose and benefit from it that way. And then some other ways that people use them would be like on diffuser jewelry. So this is just like a quick example. My kids made this. It has a lava beads on it. So the lava beads are porous. And then you just put a drop of essential oil on that. And then that would be absorbed through your skin through the lava bead, but then also you'd be able to smell it on you.
So cool.
I mean, there's many other ways that you can use them, but those are just some of the most common ways.
Yes, and they're wonderful ways and examples. And I actually have a little necklace that opens up, like it does have that porous property too that will emit the oil when it's right next to my chest, and I love it. Melanie, I think we should really stress about the importance of the quality of the oils because people would just think, oh, I'll just go pick this up, pick that up on my way here and there at a store, like maybe on their way home from, on a trip somewhere, don't know much about it. What can you tell us about the quality and the importance?
So the quality is extremely important. Like I said, they're very concentrated, and especially if you're going to be using them for like common ailments, you want to make sure that the quality that you're using on your body is as good as you can get. So I did a lot of research before choosing to go with the company that I use, Young Living. And the reason I chose them is because they have their own farms as well as really strict partnership farms that they do better than organic farming when they grow their own plants. Like everything's hand weeded. They use essential oils for pesticides and herbicides. And then they do all their distillations and bottling and all of that. So they have their finger in the pot from the beginning to the end of the product. And that's what they call their, I have it on my shirt here, their seed to seal guarantee. But there are other companies that are good as well. It's just to do your research, look into the company background, and don't just grab any cheap oil off of a shelf because the regulations, as far as like having them being
how it's processed and things like that.
An oil only needs to have 5% of an actual plant matter in it to be called pure as far as marketing on a shelf.
Really?
So it's to be
Okay.
aware of that. You do your research on your company before you buy, to make sure that what you're getting is actually pure, because a lot of essential oils just buying off the shelf are adulterated with synthetic chemicals, and they're not going to do a whole lot of good
Okay.
for you. You're going to pay less
So
for it, but
what
you're going to get a lot less
percentage?
benefit from it. Pardon
So
me?
what percentage, Melanie, should we be looking for it to be a true pure essential oil?
100%.
Oh, you
Like
want it
Young
to be
Living's
100.
yeah,
Okay.
Young Living's oils have nothing in them except pure essential oil that came out of the
I
plant.
see. Okay.
Whereas
Wonderful.
a lot of oils that you get off of the shelf have just synthetic fillers
Added.
basically that make it cheaper to
Okay.
produce and sell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, I feel like
And
I've
you wanted
actually,
to,
and
yeah.
not to throw any store under the bus, but I've seen things like essential oil kind of things at the dollar store. So I paid a lot
Yeah.
of money and good quality money for my diffuser, and I would worry that my diffuser would not work properly if I didn't use the proper oil as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, when the whole point of using essential oils for me is to get away from synthetic chemicals. My body doesn't handle synthetic fragrances or synthetic chemicals well at all. I have reactions to them. And so that's why I turn to essential oils, among other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons I turn to essential oils, because I can't handle fragrances in cleaners or laundry detergent or those sorts of things. So
Mm-hmm.
essential oils have become part of my cleaning routine, as well as like I can't handle like air fresheners or like scented candles or plug-ins or all of those
Okay.
things. I
Okay.
can't do them. And they're not
Mm-hmm.
healthy for you. You get looking into them. Those synthetic
No.
fragrances can have a lot of negative
Okay.
health effects. So that's why I've turned to the essential oils, because they actually benefit your body when you're using them. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just to smell good, like they actually give you benefits when you're using them, if you're using a good quality oil.
Right. Great. Did you want to, with the time we have left, just touch on the importance of oils and mental health? Those two
I'd
topics
love
together.
to. Yes. 'Cause mental health is a big passion of mine. It has been for many years. So using essential oils, they can really benefit everybody, to help support your mental health, your emotional being, spiritual being. And the reason that
Mm-hmm.
they work so well is when you're using a good quality oil and you inhale it, especially, as well as when you use it on your skin, but especially when you inhale it, it starts a pathway. There's your olfactory nerve, and then it starts a pathway that ends up in the limbic center of your brain, and that's where you process your emotions, where memories are stored, and that sort of thing. So, just to give an example, like say if you smell like cinnamon, it'll probably remind you of like being in your grandmother's kitchen baking, like a nice memory like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So smells are very much linked to memories and emotions. And so
Mm-hmm.
when we use essential oils, if you're using a good quality oil, there are compounds in there that when you inhale, they affect the emotional center of your brain, and they can help you to find balance again. And there are some like that Young Living has created specifically for trauma release, which I have found very helpful for myself in the past. And I've used them a lot to get through personal loss and trauma. And as well as day-to-day struggles with like anxiety and that sort of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
how I would normally use it would just be inhaling, like this one. I used this one before we hooked up here. It's called Valor. It's a blend by Young Living. And it's supposed to help with courage, because I have anxiety with public speaking and that sort of thing. So to use it, you just would take a drop, put it in your palm, rub your palms together, and then do what we call like a scent tent over your nose.
Mm.
And then just inhale deeply that way. And then it's amazing, especially when you focus on your breath, which helps calm down anyways. When you combine those two things together, it can just really help you relax. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
that's just an example. But essential oils can definitely help with mental health.
Wonderful. Audrey, I guess we have to have a contact for this lovely lady.
Yes. How would we be able to get a hold of you or order your products? Exactly.
Yeah, so I can either be contacted on Facebook through my Facebook business page. It's Essential Roots Holistic Health, if you look it up on Facebook, or you could contact me through email, which is young living hyphenated Melanie, Melanie, at hotmail.com. And I would love to chat with anybody about aromatherapy. Most people can benefit from aromatherapy. So if you want to contact me, just give me a little message and we'll see what can work for you.
Okay, perfect. Because I think you're going to be getting some messages. I know that you have helped me, and I love my inhaler. I love my oils. I've had the special blend that you recommended to help me with my sleep, and like I've gotten a lot of information today, as I'm sure our viewers have, about things to do like with the peppermint and the lemon that I wasn't really sure about. So you've given us a wealth of information today, and I really want to thank you for being an absolutely informative and amazing guest. And I know that you're a busy household there and still make time to do all these oils and sell them. So keep on making people feel better. And again, you're walking testimony that they benefit because you just explained how they've done so much for you and helped you with everything from stage fright to calming, just before the show. So nobody go too far. We have another lovely guest standing just aside. And Audrey and I will be right back with her. So thanks, and thank you, Melanie.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Have a Chat, everyone. We just finished with a lovely lady by the name of Melanie Dixon talking about her aromatherapy, and it was fascinating. She had so many products to talk about and benefits to discuss. And now we have another lovely young woman to join us on our set virtually, and that is Barb Curtis. Welcome, Barbara.
Hello, Barb.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's
Thanks
a
for joining
pleasure
us.
to have you. Yes, we love all these first-time guests. They're exciting, and the viewers love it. So, Barb, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm born and raised in Miramichi. I grew up in Blackville, and after high school, moved to Fredericton, so not too far away. Went to college. I studied fashion design, actually,
Oh,
and I tried to work at that for a few years. I moved to Toronto actually after that, after I graduated, and only stayed for about a year and came back and just, I guess, tried to find what was going to work for me. I did a lot of different jobs, and I actually went back to school and studied marketing. And then I just started writing, and I got this, I kind of always wanted to, and I just started writing as a hobby, really.
So tell us a little bit about, now you said you came back from Toronto, went back to school, and you always wanted to write, but how did it actually begin with actually writing like books and novels? Tell us your beginnings.
Well, it didn't happen right away, writing fiction. I got this idea that I wanted to write a style column. And
Okay.
at the time, yeah, at the time we had this community newspaper in Fredericton that, you know, there's been different ones over the years, but at the time, I went in and I opened up to the inside front page, and I found the list of contacts, and I contacted the editor and I said, would you like to have a style column? And so they said,
okay.
sure. So I started writing this little style column, and I really liked that. But it just sort of, you know, I think the paper folded like not long after. And so I
Right.
then went in the direction of having these sort of stories in my head, and maybe I should write that instead. So I tried that, and no looking back.
I'm really excited about this because I don't know too many local authors actually. And so tell us about your book, the genre, and a little bit about the storyline, and then how it all unfolded, because you now have one out there that people can actually go and buy and read. But tell us a bit about your books.
So the genre would be contemporary romance. So present day. It's funny because for a long time I thought I was actually writing women's fiction, and then I found out all these rules, genre rules, and if it has a happily ever after, and character arcs for both main characters, and all of this stuff, that you're writing a romance. And so I was a little surprised by that, and not sure if I wanted to write romance or not. But
because there was all these
here I am.
guidelines that go with it.
Yeah, and there's also kind of some negative stigma around romance, like that it's not as revered as other genres and stuff like that. And I just wasn't sure. I was like, do I want to write that? But I mean, I don't care anymore.
I'm excited. Like, if I went to buy Barb Curtis's book, what am I going to look? What's the cover going to look like? Can you say the name of the book and a little bit more about it?
Sure. So the first book in the series is called Forever With You, and it's a 3-book series that takes place in a fictional town called Sapphire Springs. So the series is called Sapphire Springs. So Forever With You is book 1. It's centered around the main character inherits her grandfather's restaurant, and there's a clause in the will that forces her into a partnership with the winery owned by her ex. So they have to
juicy.
work together. And
I love
it's
it.
kind of, I would describe it as a Hallmark, but a little more sassy.
Like Judy said, you actually have one that is published and it's on the shelves. Now, that doesn't just happen overnight. You say you have these stories and everything in your head, and you finally have one that's actually out there to purchase. Now, what led all to that, and everything that's involved into getting a book on the shelf?
Well, it has been a long time. So Forever With You has been in the works for about, I would say, 12, 13 years before it was published. So that I say that because that would be how long ago I would have started writing it. Now, having no idea how to write a book, it never occurred to me to take a class. So just winging it. And, then life happened a couple of times and it got shelved. And I would kind of work on it again. And then after so many years, it's like, well, it's just been so much work put into this. I've got to do something with it.
Good.
So then my daughter was born in 2016. And I was on mat leave, and it just seemed like the right time to kind of take it back out. It was around that same time that I started connecting with some other writers on Twitter and got on some Facebook groups. So I was, I guess, networking with some like-minded people and people who wrote in my genre, and started swapping work and, getting feedback and stuff. And then it came to like the rewrites. And then after it was rewritten, I was happy with it, I started querying agents.
So then you have to get yourself an agent in order to review the book. And is it through the agent that leads you to getting published?
That was kind of the first step, was querying agents. And it is not easy. I don't even know how many agents I queried. It's a ton of rejection.
So you would send your book to agents? You would send your book to the agents to read it, and
Yeah, so basically every agent has like their submission guidelines. So some want to read 3 chapters, some want to read 10 pages. and then they'll request more if they want more. But a lot of times it's just a fast rejection, like,
Mhm.
you know, this is a subjective business and we're, you know, not looking for this right now or whatever. And other times it was really helpful feedback.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while. And then I just got kind of really just disheartened by the whole thing. Like, it was such a long
Mhm.
process and it was taking forever. And I thought, okay, it's time to start something new. This is never going to happen with this book, and that's okay. It'll be my learning book. And I just decided at the last minute to submit to a publisher and see what happened. And you can't really do
Someone
that.
different.
Yep. And you can't, like, they weren't open to unagented authors, but they had this digital side of the publishing house where you could,
Mhm.
if they were interested in your book, they would publish it digitally and print on demand.
Okay.
So
Yep.
it wasn't really, like, that's not really what I wanted. But I thought, well, you know, what do I have to lose? I might as well try this. It's like one last kick at the can. And so I did that, and months went by. And then all of a sudden I got this email from an editor, and she said she was enjoying the book and did I have any more ideas? Yeah. And then, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, I don't want to publish digitally. And so this is great, but it's not really what I want. And
Mhm.
then she asked me to submit the ideas for the other books. And she came back with a 3-book deal. And it was a really long email with details about the offer. And, you know, I'm reading it the whole time going, oh my God, this isn't real. But also,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to see my book in a bookstore. And then
Aw.
the last line of the email said, by the way, this is for the print side of the company. And I was like,
Woohoo!
floored.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I've read
That-
it.
Wee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I probably read the email a dozen times.
Did you get excited then about your cover? Because then you have to go to an illustrator, am I correct, and find out the designer and your coloring and your catchiness for the to draw people in to buy it in the store.
I thought that, you know, you have this sort of vision of what you think it's going to look like, and but the publisher has their vision, and they're in the business of selling books, and they know what
Oh.
works. And
Right.
so
Okay.
they had ideas for the cover and the title and all that stuff. So I just,
Oh.
you know, I trust their judgment and went along with it. And yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't know how that works. I didn't really know that part of it. And I'm a voracious reader, as everybody knows by now. And I love the feel of a real book and the smell of
Me too.
paper and my bookmarks and the covers. I just love to hold the actual book, and I can't wait to hold yours. Audrey, what do you think? We're talking to an actual author here. I think it's beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
Congrats.
That's just, yeah, I have an inspiring author in my family as well. She's doing a little dabble with poetry and things like that. And she was once told in university that she had the potential of being published. So she sort of got that in her head there, and she's sort of fishing around and playing with that idea as well. She's super young with a head full of stories and ideas like yourself, Barb.
Yeah.
So when did this book, like, so from the time you got that email to book on shelf?
A year, pretty
A
much,
full
Not
year.
almost to
bad.
the day. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
go
So
on.
it had to go through a few rounds of edits, but we did, they were fairly happy with, I mean, I had polished this book for so many years that
Yes.
I think we said
Yes.
12. I think we've established 12 at least.
there wasn't many typos left or anything. But we did go through a round of developmental edits that were very minor, and then some copy edits, and then at the last step is they send you the formatted pages, and you go through it another, like, one more time, and it's amazing what you can catch once it's formatted and looks different than when it was on your computer. You see things that you glanced over every other time, but so it goes through that
Right.
phase, and then yeah. So
Oh
Do you have
my.
a copy
it's
of the
a
book?
lot of I
Chris?
do, yeah.
I was going to say,
let's
can we
see this.
see the cover? I'm like,
I
we'd
can't wait
love
to
to
read it.
see. Oh,
Oh,
there
that's
we are.
beautiful. That's
Oh, for
attractive for
goodness
sure. They made a
sakes.
good call on that. That would lure me for sure. And this is a trilogy, Barb. Like you have one out now that's available where? We can just go online and order it, or to like Indigo, or where do you get your books?
Yeah, so locally, you can get it at Mill Cove,
Oh,
and they've been
good.
great. Mill Cove coffee, yep. And you can
Okay.
also pre-order the second book there as well. The second book comes out
Oh,
in July 27th.
oh,
But you
Imagine.
can also Chapters, Indigo, Amazon, pretty much every bookstore.
That's so
so it just
well,
became
I'm going to be
available?
reading it.
Yeah,
Good. That's good.
definitely. I think my daughter would love to receive that as a gift, the trilogy of your stories. So, are you working on the third one right now?
Yeah, so right now, book 3 was due the end of February. So now it's with the editor. She's reading it, and I'm just waiting for her feedback. So we'll go through those developmental edits probably pretty quickly, unfortunately. But we'll go through that. But I've been working on this book a long time too, because in my mind, this book 3 was going to be book 2. So when they kind of wanted to switch the order, I had to panic and write the second book because I had some like a rough draft, but book 3 really had more work done on it than book 2 had. So um
Well,
I'm
you're
hoping there won't
an
be.
incredible. No, I was just going to say you're an incredible person because you work full time and you have a daughter, correct? So
Yes.
you have
Yeah.
full-time job and trying to run a home, and you're an author, and you have another full, like I said, a career, basically 2 jobs. So Barb, we're out of time, but I just want to say that it's been wonderful hearing about you and your background, and that it did pay off. That people that are out there learning how to write, wanting to write, and to be published. It's a very, very long, detailed process, but you got there through
Yep.
perseverance
Very
and sheer will
inspiring.
and yeah, I'm so inspired and I'm so impressed, and I'm sure our viewers are. So I
Yes.
can't wait to have everyone give feedback on your book coming out, Barb. And again, locally, it's at Mill Cove in Newcastle, which is readily available. So thanks to all of you for joining Audrey and I for Have a Chat. Thank you to our guests, Melanie and Barb. It's been a great show having you join us, and we'll see you again.